Hello YouTube, in this video I'm gonna be talking to you about this subject called acceptance and how it's related to all kinds of endeavors of the human organism. You know about that. It's really interesting that in this human world there are groups of people that want pink. If it's not pink, they're not gonna freaking want it. You know, if you're not freaking like getting the pink, they're gonna kick you freaking out. You know, that's the pink group, you know, join us. Then there's another group, it's a yellow group. And if the yellow group wants freaking yellow, they're gonna kick you freaking out if you want pink. That's human group psychology at the lowest level of consciousness. And it happens in so many things, you know. This is how people like are molded to be some way. And it all happens through this principle of the brain. And in the brain, when there's acceptance, there's like this good feeling. And when there's not acceptance, there's this like bad feeling. And if you want to like shape and mold somebody's behavior, you first accept the people or the human being, and then you reject the person, so he will start to like question himself, like should I like change my ways? And then you change the way like slow and slow and slow and slow, and at some point you have made somebody who was at some point like a really good guy, you know, you have made him into a complete, you know, lunatic criminal mobster or something like that. It happens in the street in the same way as it happens in the like schools. It happens in the like the gangster type of stuff. It happens in the gangs in the same type of way that it happens in the work type of environment. This is universal. The only thing that like changes in this is the content of the belief of what's like desirable and good. For me, desirable and good means pink. I'm all about pink. Pink for me means truth. Pink is truth, you know, there's nothing but pink. And pink is all and everything that should be desired. If you desire blue, I'm gonna freaking like kick you out of this place, you know. That's how developed I am. And you know, when you simplify into these like color terms, it's insanity. It's literal insanity. It's fucking bollocks, you know. It's fucking bollocks, but then you make it like, what's desirable is guns and open gun culture. It's no longer about colors. It's just, it's all about, you know, it's all about freaking like gun culture. It's good, it's desirable, let's go for it. If you're not for it, we're gonna kick you out. This is how humans like segregate themselves into these boxes, and this is where like individuality and group type of like mentality is like coming together. Because really, what's desirable anyway? Like what's the fucking truth of what's desirable? You know, pink's desirable. But not for you, maybe not. For somebody, what's desirable might be like being a freaking metalhead. But the truth is that all like things that are desirable, are they really your own ways of being? Or are they something that you kind of like have this subconscious like thought process that yeah, I like act this way, I'm gonna get this out of this, and these people are gonna accept me, it's gonna lead to this one over here, or like what's it really about, you know? It's really, when you start wearing a hat like this is really where it starts to change. Like this is crucial, because the fedora is not, in the modern day, it's not a desirable thing to wear. At least in the popular culture. And when you wear this hat, people don't really reject you like completely, but they won't be accepting you completely either. This hat is kind of like that it makes you that kind of figure that is like hard to give this kind of like thing to, like, I reject you completely, or I completely accept you, you know? The fedora has magic in it, and fedoras are desirable in our culture that also favors pink. It's kind of like we are combining, you know, if you believe in this and then you do this work, you're gonna be like the most desirable person in this place, and we are gonna be like accepting you and giving you praise. And then you do the work, and then they raise up the stakes, and you're like, fuck. They raise up the stakes, and you have to do better work, and then, man, like, what kind of fucking insane game is this? Like, is this really what's this about, you know? Like, this kind of like mental manipulation stuff. Like, are you freaking like, when are you ever gonna grow up from this kind of like thing? Well, the fact is that in these groups, they are not ever gonna grow up from this thing. It doesn't happen that way. Because the group mentality, if it's this kind of group, what kind of groups are these? Gangs, some religious cults, some even like political parties, some well, like some things that are related to fandom, like things that like gather people up. They work this way, and I'm not saying that these things are not desirable or good, because that's where fights start. It's not about that, you know. It's really not about fucking that. It's the structure of this thinking this way that is the problem, because thinking this way really makes you into a person that can't evolve to the next level of the human consciousness. But that's also a thing that I'm making desirable for you, and you don't want to buy it. You know, you understand. It's almost impossible to say anything in this world without being this kind of person. But there's a way that you can be a person that can really go around this. And that is to respect what other people deem as truth and desirable and good. Yeah. That's gonna open you up to more possibilities, more talent, more people, and more options and more possibilities. But that's also a desirable thing. Some people don't desire that, they don't deem that good, you know? So what do you really do in this kind of situation when you have understood that acceptance and limitation go hand in hand, you know? That I want this acceptance over here, it's gonna limit me in this way over here. Or I want this limitation removed over here, it's gonna limit me over here in this way. I'm gonna lose acceptance over here. And when you really think about it, acceptance is a very shallow form and a really shallow thing to be desired. But then again, you might also question that if acceptance is really a shallow thing to be desired, then what's more desirable than acceptance? Well, you could make it well, the truth is the most desirable thing. Yeah, that's what you should be going after. The truth. Yeah, yeah, that might be true. So some people, no, that's not really. It's not that important to even be telling the truth. You can lie if it's what's desirable is like that we get along. You can lie, go and lie. If it makes us get along, just lie. It's human nature. Some people think that's undesirable. You know, to kick the guy out. You know, what a liar. You know. And here you understand that it's really, really, really about understanding where the gap of things and people and the effect people have on each other come to picture. And how can you be a person that will be able to maneuver around this kind of territories like a rogue without getting caught for it? Or if you get caught, well, I bet people will like you still, because I feel I'm going for this kind of style in my life. I don't want to argue with people what's desirable. That's like waste of time. Like, not wasting time is desirable, so I'm not gonna waste it. But when I'm not gonna argue with people, I'm just gonna like respect that that's this person's truth. And because I'm the truth detective, I look for different kinds of truths, you know. And my relationship with truth is not like, my relationship with truth is not relative. It's more of a triangle, you know. I see that there are these many like truths, you know, that you can follow. There are many paths. There's one destination, and not all paths maybe lead to that one destination, and that's probably a pretty sure thing. But here we get into a territory that it's really like impossible to talk with most of people, because it's more experiential and it's more requires a certain kind of practice. But then you can also think that, yeah, that's not really desirable. I want like an easy way, like it has to be more easy. You think that, yeah, but you know, I mean, if things are hard, it might be desirable actually. Yeah, it's all this, we as human beings are fumbling along. We are little children falling off just again and again and again and again. And we will be that until we are old, you know. And that's why as a human being I really don't want to be this like all-knowing type of like dude, you know. And I feel that it's great. It has brought in my life great things, you know, great blessings. Yeah. Also some misfortunes, you know, and I bet that the strategy of some people that they don't want to think like this is just because of those misfortunes. But it might be that, you know, misfortune and fortune, they are kind of like, you know, desirable and undesirable. Well, who really thought about these things like really deeply? It was the Buddha. And Buddha really taught that, you know, going after your desires might be not so good, not so desirable. But I've tried that, and I could say that health-wise your desires sometimes have a reason, and at the same time you go this road that you die, yeah, these things are not desirable, let's not desire anything, then you might be doing yourself some detrimental things without like understanding it on a psychological and physiological level, how this like human body works. But then again, you know, the Buddha taught that the human body is not very desirable thing at all. So yeah, we are going pretty deep. Yeah, where does it end? Well, nowhere. It ends nowhere, you know. This kind of like thinking, it ends nowhere. It ends nowhere. So we need another type of like thinking. And what I feel that is like the way is that we have two ways of looking at the world. And the first is that there's the uniting factor of humanity. And the uniting truth of who you are, and then there's the persona, who you are being. You might be doing this job over here. You might be this like social media person over here. You might be this artist over here. You might be this like a factory worker over here. But if you discover the truth, that won't be such a big deal, and then you will be able to like talk to people that haven't discovered this truth themselves. And it's such a wonderful thing, you know. And they won't probably get this from you, that you are talking from a different kind of place. But if they get it, it's an interaction on a whole different level. It's more respectful for the egos, because the egos, when they clash, there comes all kinds of battles, you know. It's more respectful for the ego, but it's also more respectful for the like, well, the truth doesn't need respect. Yeah. God doesn't need your respect. Yeah. God doesn't need your respect, you know. The truth doesn't need respect. But for the egos, it's a good thing. And it makes different differences kind of like coalescence into each other. And that's what I want you to understand, that groups that are not, and individuals that are not enlightened in this way, they will try to force other egos to be a certain way. And people who are more of like this way, they will respect other egos more, but egos also have this like automatic type of like reactions. It's not always this way, but your behavior should be changing. If you like realize what I mean over here, your behavior should be changing into a more like where you can tolerate very different people. But it might be that this kind of thing comes from something else. If you're like, think about this: we have two parents. Like, I don't mean a mother and a father, but I mean like two parents, like completely in different families. And the other parents in the other family, they work with disabled children, or maybe autistic children, or maybe problem children, or maybe like some problem youths, you know. And the other family, they work in marketing cereal, maybe something like that. And it's a completely different ball game, you know. What kind of like a mindset this kid that grows up in this family will like adapt, you know. The other kid probably will be very tolerant, you know. Probably won't be a racist type of dude, or like be like this dude that is like he respects people's difficulties, you know. People's difficulties are like his, like, you know, thing. But then in the other like family, you know, he might not even like, he won't understand the problems. But on top of that, he will like maybe even deny that they even exist at all, or that you know, these people are just, you know, crazy. They're crazy, or they're sick, you know, there's something wrong with them or something like that. And that's you can't maybe change that at all. But in yourself, I believe that maybe this kind of like self-realization might affect something, you know. And in me as myself, you know, I have changed a lot in recent years. I have become a person that like, I'm like, it might be as well that none of humanity existed, you know. So it's pretty great. There's like each moment is so like unique in itself. Maybe not, you know, I'm not talking about precious, you know, that's That's not the word I'm going for. Every moment is unique. So learning to value that in other people is really great. It opens you up a lot. And that's what I'm going for over here. Learning to transcend your ego, and with that transform the way you use your ego. Lessen it up a bit, and I try to make you more conscious of in what kind of environments these things like happen, and what kind of environments reinforce this kind of like egoic attachment type thing to what's desirable, and how there's a lot of stuff in this world that like reinforces this, maybe even this shirt, but it's fine. It's fine that those things exist. There's no problem in it. So thanks for watching.